LinkedIn is pretty amazing at helping you grow your small business. We cannot stop your new clients from emailing you at 3 a.m. We can help you sell, market, and hire in one place. We cannot help you be in 3 places at once. And while we can't help you organize your calendar, LinkedIn can help you land more clients so you have a calendar to organize. Grow your small business on LinkedIn. Learn more at linkedin.com/smallbusiness.
What up? It's Interview Style. We talk about movies or whatever. Remember when we talked about Vanilla Sky, or maybe that's in the future?
Yes, that is in the future, featured in forthcoming Cameron Crowe month at orwhatevermovies.com or wherever you get podcasts.
Are you still holding on to this idea that Abre los Ojos was a better film, a superior film?
Arguably, Abre los Ojos serves to remind us that some movies maybe don't need to be remade.
I mean, because Vanilla Sky, one would argue, is a pretty faithful remake. It didn't deviate from the story. If anything, it expanded on it. It turned it up to 11, way more expensive and way more like high budget and colorful and stylistic. Are there any other big budget movies that you think might have been better as like a cheap indie movie, Abre los Ojos style?
No, but I can think of filmmakers' careers that arguably didn't improve as their budgets increased.
Wes Anderson.
You said it.
I said it. Do you agree with it?
I guess in the sense that I haven't seen a lot of Wes Anderson's more recent films.
Well, I mean, the budgets didn't spiral or anything, like go out of control. They're the same. I bet he's going to have a little furry fox puppet. I bet he's going to have some clay dogs on that Isle of Dogs or whatever. It's just fine. Whatever. It's fine. So I came up with some ones. I was surprised. I tried to think of what big movies would be better as small movies. And there's talk. I don't think you would see it. And I'm afraid that Disney would think that a lot of people may not turn out for another $300 million. $350 million, I think, is what the final budget was for the final Pirates movie with Johnny Depp. There's talk about bringing that dude back, and he's over 60 now. But kind of like Brendan Fraser's The Mummy movies, there's a reason they stopped making those, truthfully. It's not like, because Brendan Fraser encountered some stuff, but because people didn't like them. It wasn't enough to justify where you had to do like $1.5 billion to break even. That's irresponsible. I really would like to see even more stripped down than the original Pirates. I really want to see skeletons in the moonlight with swords on a ship racked in the storms like Forrest Gump style or like The Last Voyage of the Demeter style, where it's like on a gimbal and you're just blasting it with water cannons and stuff. That would be super cool to see a more contained Last Voyage of the Demeter style Pirates of the Caribbean. Where did we land on that?
Caribbean for the ride-in movies and Caribbean for the destination.
And then strangely, the other two that I thought would be better, smaller, they're all Disney, including Pirates. It's all Disney. And I wonder if that says something about a little bit of Disney bloat, not just like in terms of the volume of movies they release, but how much money they throw at a movie like The Jungle Cruise, which would have been better, smaller. I like the idea of a dark, creepy, creaking door, dusty, kind of poltergeist stripped down haunted mansion. The haunted mansion was big and they glowed blue and it was lots and lots of special effects, very dense, and it bombed. And maybe it wouldn't have bombed if it was a Blumhouse Pirates 2 and a Haunted Mansion style movie where it's ultra cheap, where it's creepy and the sounds and the footsteps that you can't identify and the flickering lights that are coming from upstairs are really effective, that don't have to be a $200 million budget and don't have to put Lakeith Stanfield, relegate him to supporting roles because all his big stuff where he has leading roles bombs for some reason. That would be cool.
I'd like to see that.
Yes, as would I. And then it has to be said that the last couple of Indiana Jones movies, he's older, and you have to get stunt doubles and stuff, but they were awfully cartoony. And I love Indiana Jones, and I defended the Dial of Destiny and I watched it again, or I tried to, and it's just too much polish. It's just too Disney. And when I go back and watch them, it's always the first 3 movies. And that kind of makes me sad, because if they went to Angkor Wat or Abu Simbel or any place like that on location where they had stunt doubles doing fight scenes and stuff, but he was really exploring, and in the jungles of Brazil or Peru or whatever, it would be a better movie if it was much smaller, like the opening scene of Raiders of the Lost Ark, and hopefully entirely practical.
Yeah, and by smaller, you mean more creative. They don't have to be shiny. Sometimes clever goes a little bit further than shiny.
And saves $200 million in some cases.
Right.
And that's why when we see people get big jobs, Gareth Edwards and stuff, and people make little movies, and you're like, dude, how did you do that with like no money? And then they give them huge budget movies that kind of fail because the mindset is still in a bootstraps kind of grassroots. What is it? What am I looking for? Like a guerrilla style.
Yeah.
Aesthetic that doesn't translate to massive movie. It's not the same thing.
And yet, sometimes it arguably pays off. I'm thinking specifically of the career and the films of P.T. Anderson. We discussed that maybe some of his recent, quote, lesser films, some of his recent films seemed bloated, or maybe a better way to put it would be unchecked, that he had gained the acclaim to allow himself to kind of do whatever he wanted, and he went a little bit off the rails. And yet his most expensive movie to date won the Academy Award. And that, of course, being One Battle After Another, his most expensive movie ever. Did he turn it around? Did he use his resources more in service of the story? How is that movie set apart from Inherent Vice or The Master or Licorice Pizza? Licorice Pizza was a small movie.
Yeah, and kind of sucked. Sorry. The world may never know. I was going to suggest, would you see a little quiet, like, thief movie made by Christopher Nolan or whatever in the style of Memento? And then I realized that his super successful Oscar-winning Best Picture movie was Oppenheimer, which was in that dude's head and all close up on Cillian Murphy's face and talking scenes in classrooms and courtrooms and stuff. And nothing much happened beyond the Trinity test. That's weird. I still saw it in 70 millimeter IMAX.
Yeah.
Can that dude do everything and strip it down? Danny Boyle was getting kind of out of pocket, man. Slumdog Millionaires. All kinds of produced and stylistically edited and has his flair and stuff. And Sunshine and other big Danny Boyle movies. And then he made a movie for like $75 with 28 Days Later. 28 years later. And The Bone Temple. Well, he directed 28 years later. He didn't direct The Bone Temple, but he made that movie awfully cheap, and I appreciate it. I'm with you, Danny Boyle.
Maybe the takeaway is that these filmmakers' careers aren't linear, and sometimes they return to more grassroots style filmmaking, whether it's out of necessity or an aesthetic choice.
Yeah, keep it up by toning it down. You might be better for it. We might be better for it. Thanks for playing. Love you. Bye.
Welcome to Transforming 45, the podcast that celebrates the incredible power of passionate voices. I'm your host, Lisa Boat. Join me in conversation with heart-led humans who share their deeply personal stories of transformation. Transforming 45 is here to uplift, connect, and remind you that it's never too late to write your next chapter. So get ready to be inspired, empowered, and transformed. Join me in this community where through powerful storytelling, we heal and reclaim our inherent magic.
Electricast.